Welcome back to The Global Move, brought to you by Asian Tigers Group. I'm your host, Ryan, and today we're diving into a topic that's becoming increasingly relevant for many people moving from or to tropical climates, the challenge of mold. With us to explore this issue is YB, General Manager for Asian Tigers Group in Hong Kong. Welcome, YB.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Happy to be here to talk about a topic that is a common problem but seldom discussed until it becomes a real problem.
Yeah, mold's a sneaky issue. We've seen an increase in mold incidents and shipments lately, too. So, YB, can you tell us why is this happening?
There are a few possibilities. The first is that we are seeing more shipment that's coming out from the tropics. Obviously, tropics is hot and humid. And the other thing is that lately we're also seeing a lot of shipment timing that has been lengthened. This is due to the shipment delays that is really a rather commonplace in the recent months. And then finally, it also could be climate change. You see, air has its special properties in which that the higher the temperatures, the ability of the air to hold moisture has gone up. So more temperature, higher temperature, more moisture, it's perfect for mold.
So it's heat and humidity, but where does the mold come from?
Ah, good question. There is this misconception that mold is actually introduced into the box during transit. But the reality is this, most molds are everywhere. That's to say that when we pack those boxes, the most balls are actually on the goods already. So all it needs is the right conditions. That is, the high temperatures and the moistures for the most balls to sprout.
Okay. So, I mean, that makes sense why people say to use silica gel or air conditioned storage to prevent the mold, but does that always work?
Yes and no. Well, you are actually looking at one side of the equation. Now, air conditioning addresses the issues of temperature, but it does not address the issue of moisture. Yes, silica gel absorb moistures, but if your goods are laden with moistures, there's only so much the silica gel can do. One interesting thing about mold is that mold is not a plant. Mold is a fungus. So the difference between a plant and a fungus is that plant requires light. It requires the carbon dioxide waters to manufacture its own plants, but mold doesn't. It just depends on the host for the plant. I'm sorry, for the food.
It's an important distinction. So what can our listeners who are getting ready for an international move, what can they do to minimize the risk of mold?
Uh, it's very important to keep things clean and dry. That's to say that if you're shipping clothing, in which that most people will be, make sure that the clothing are dry and washed and properly dry before the packing. You have wooden furnitures, you have leather sofas. Make sure that you give them a good wipe down. Um, Outdoor furnitures, those that are exposed to the elements, bring them in way ahead so that they can dry out inside the apartments. Uh, you have appliances that may have contain waters. A good example will be refrigerators, washers. Keep the inside clean and also make sure that the inside are properly dried up. You want to do this actually days ahead, right? Especially if you're doing this during the rainy seasons, you really want to put many days between this preparation and the packing. If you have access to mechanical means, things like dehumidifiers, you got air conditioners, by all means use them to dry the inside of your apartment or house. Right? This actually help a lot in the drying process.
That's solid advice. So cleaning and drying seem to be the key steps here.
Oh, that's correct. In fact, the whole idea is actually to create this environment in which that is not friendly to all these nasty guys. Remember one thing, when you have leather sofas, right? Leather sofas are actually very yummy to bowl, but leather sofas with body oil, that's very very yummy to the mold.
Thanks, YB. This has been incredibly enlightening. And keeping mold at bay is super important for a successful move, especially when you're coming and going from the tropics.
Thank you. Happy to share.